hot teacher started giving us strange homework. Our latest assignment was horrifying. I think every straight guy in my school was attracted to Miss Bell. Everyone in my class would get perfect scores on her homework just so they could get her approval. That was, until the horrifying truth behind her strange assignments was revealed. She wasn't a bad teacher, but her homework was very different from other teachers. For certain students, she'd ask them to come to her house after school so they could complete assignments together, and if they didn't, they'd be forced to fail. The students that got given these assignments just happened to also be the best-looking guys in the class. Of course, they didn't complain. Teenage guys getting invited to their hot teacher's house. Who would turn that down? They just didn't realize her disgusting true intentions. The same can't be said for the girls in the class. They were clearly her least favorite students. She would usually just ignore them, or she'd just ask them extremely hard questions to make them look stupid in front of the rest of the class. Whenever any of the boys asked for help, she'd always make sure to lean right over their desk with a low button-down shirt to help explain. Specifically, the good-looking guys. My friend Sean nearly creamed his pants when she leaned down next to him when wearing a low button-down shirt to explain how to properly use an adverb. I mostly ignored this for the most part, until the rumor spread that Miss Bell was sleeping with her favorites. I thought this was bad enough, but the actual truth of what she was doing was so much worse. Most guys were fine with this rumor, but I always thought it was really weird that her students were around 15 or 16 at this point. That's really not okay. I don't care how hot people think it is. It's a bit personal for me, if I'm honest. My older sister was preyed on by one of her teachers when she was a freshman. It only came out when she got pregnant at age 14. That guy's still rotting in jail, and when he gets out, I'm gonna probably punch his face till it breaks. I didn't want to just throw around false accusations, so I checked for myself. I asked my friend Sean, who happened to be one of her favorite students. We were playing video games, eating mozzarella sticks, and just chatting it up when I decided to bring up Miss Bell. So, what do you think about her? I asked, snatching another mozzarella stick off the pile. Sean's face lit up in a way that made my stomach twist. "Oh man, she's the greatest. I got to study at her house last Saturday," he said. I swallowed. "Did all you do was study?" I asked, glancing up the stairs to make sure Mrs. Barnett wasn't within hearing distance. Sean grinned and leaned in close. "We did it on her kitchen table," he said. Well, that confirmed it. "Dude, she's like 30. That's not cool," I said, jerking away and nearly knocking over Mount Mozzarella. Sean snorted and rolled his eyes. "Come on, it's not like I didn't want it. And she's not 30, she's 28, he said, as if that made it all better. "I'm telling you, it's kind of creepy that a 28-year-old woman wants to do it with a 16-year-old, I said. He shrugged, and the conversation ended there. I wish I asked more. Maybe he would have told the truth about what she was really doing. God, I really should have talked with Sean about it more. That Friday, I'd forgotten my copy of To Kill a Mockingbird in Miss Bell's class and was heading back to get it when I saw she wasn't alone in class. Maybe hoping to get some evidence of her creeping on teenage boys, I listened in. I recognized the other person as Malcolm. Malcolm wasn't the brightest bulb in the package. He'd been held back a year and thought of himself as a badass just because he graffitied the school before. Right now, Malcolm was crying and I felt sick to my stomach. I just don't want to lose you, Tia," he said between choked sobs. "Oh, baby." Miss Bell brought Malcolm into a tight hug. "You won't lose me. I love you, and you love me. That's why I know you'll do your very best to keep me." Malcolm sniffled and pulled back, but there was this oddly peaceful smile on his face. "I'll do it. You know I can," he said. "That's my baby." I darted off after that, resolving on Monday that I'd go to the principal and tell him about the conversation I heard. I needed that much time to work up my nerve. I really wish I wasn't such a coward then. That night, Malcolm went into Taco Bell and put 3 bullets in Chase Stanford's chest. It was all over Facebook. My feed went from cute animal rescue stories and memes to holy poop someone's shooting up Taco Bell. The only person killed was Chase, and thank God no one else was injured, but it shook me to the core when it came out that the shooter was Malcolm. I thought this was extremely weird, especially after what I heard from him in Miss Bell's room. This was even more freaky when I came to the realization that Chase Stanford was another one of Miss Bell's favorite students. It was like everyone went effing crazy over the span of a single night. My mom ended up guarding the door with a gun while my dad watched the back door while wielding a baseball bat. I was ordered to stay in my room, and if I heard anything suspicious to immediately call 911. Turns out this wasn't the only thing that happened that night. Malcolm's murder spree had only just begun, and it wasn't only him who had suddenly gained a lust for blood. An hour after Malcolm murdered Chase, someone broke into a party at Elijah's house and proceeded to beat the hell out of him before putting another bullet in his back. Unlike Chase, Elijah managed to survive after some serious surgery, although he'd never walk again. Another one of Miss Bell's favorite students, Elijah, the head of the debating team and one of the hottest guys in class. Something was really wrong about this. Yet this wasn't the end of that night. Malcolm ended up getting stabbed to death that night by someone else. He was found bleeding out on a street corner. He didn't even make it until the medics got there. In his jacket pocket was a confession and a dedication. He was doing this all for his girl, to prove that he was going to be her true love forever and ever. Murder. Murder everywhere. Everyone in my school made it their responsibility to keep everyone updated as soon as they could. All I could do was watch. Max Reed broke into Brad Watson's house with a knife and murdered his parents. Brad ended up throwing Max down the stairs and the idiot broke his neck. Brad then broke into the hospital where Elijah was being treated and tried to get to him. He obviously got arrested. Someone broke into Jake Curtis's house and when he found out Jake wasn't there, ended up shooting both of his parents. Jake wasn't there because he was choking Oliver Ballard to death. The list goes on, and there was a clear pattern. Each of the murderers/victims were the favorites of Miss Bell. I had a breakdown and told my parents what I'd figured out. They immediately called the cops and tipped them off. Of course, the cops went to Miss Bell's house, but she was long gone. She'd probably not even returned home after school let out. Her car was found abandoned a few miles out of town. I ended up getting questioned about the other favorites, and I listed who else I knew was rumored to be a favorite. I'd like to think I saved a few lives by doing that. I didn't save Sean's, though. When the police caught up to him, he'd been in the process of shooting another student in the head. The mystery second shooter. I don't know how they talked him down from the gun, but he was brought in. He's going to spend a long time in prison. The sun came up and over a dozen people were dead. 5 favorites remained and all of them were locked up in prison. Their stories were basically all the same, though. Miss Bell told them that they had to. She'd managed to manipulate all of her teenage lovers into murdering each other before she skipped town. Why, we don't know. Miss Bell's gone with the wind. Heck, they found out that wasn't even her real name. Her real identity is a mystery. Even to this day, every week I go visit Sean in prison. I'm proud of him for sticking around. Last time I saw him, though, I noticed something on his left hand, a golden ring. I asked who gave it to him. He just smiled and changed the subject, but I'm worried about him. I wonder if Miss Bell is still lurking around, waiting for her favorite student to get out of prison.